12, Ryan.
Present, ma'am.
Dipanshu Kumar. Not there. Vishal. 27, Vishal. No. Nitish Venkatesh. 37. Nitish is also not there. Huh? I can see him in the this thing. Meet. Connected and went for lunch. Huh? Something in the chat window. Okay, Nitish. Noted. 37 is noted. 46.
Yes, ma'am.
Shruti Kaushik. Okay, noted. 103. Darshini.
Present, ma'am.
No problem, Nitish. I have noted your attendance. Okay, Darshini also noted. 106. Fatima. Fatima is
Present.
there. Okay, Fatima. 111. Sai Satish. No response. Santosh. No response. Jivesh.
Present, ma'am.
So 133 is present. 111 and 132 is absent. Nityashri. 144. No response. Anybody from A section not answered attendance? Any absentees in A section itself? 26, 27, 111, 132, all are absent. Okay, right. Okay, so actually, as far as the syllabus is concerned, we have completed our second and third unit. We'll start with our fourth unit, but then I'll do it very slowly because I need to repeat it in the next class when B section joins. Today they have another class as they have not completed the portion. Okay, so fourth unit is all about, you can say, in general web security. So where you will be learning about secure socket layer protocol, transport layer protocol, SSL, TLS, then all the various aspects of it regarding SSL and TLS, then PK, public key infrastructure, how it is being deployed in your secure socket layer, then what are all the attacks that happens in the third version in V3. Actually, SSL comes in three versions: version number 2, version number 3, version 3.1. Okay, actually, the most popular version among them is version 3. Okay, so we are supposed to be discussing the attacks. Am I audible clear enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, so what are all the attacks for in version 3? Okay, then exportability aspect regarding it, encoding, then handshaking of message. So that is in the SSL protocol stack. It comes as a part of that. Okay, then alerts and secure transaction, secure electronic transaction. So that's what we are supposed to be discussing in fourth unit. Okay, so fifth unit is about wireless LAN security. Okay, GSM, cell phone security, that we'll discuss later. Fine. Okay, let's see what are the objectives of learning this. Okay, so yeah, you can see here the course learning objective as far as the fourth unit is concerned is understand the various methods and protocols which is used to maintain web security. So that's the reason why we are learning about SSL and TLS protocol. Okay, fine. So another aspect of web security we had already discussed. That was your IP security. IP security we had discussed in brief. So where did we discuss that? That was in the second unit. Second unit we discussed about IP security. Okay, so that was one aspect of web security. So these are the other two, because web security there are various approaches. Okay, various approaches are there. So among them we have learned about IP security. So now another two aspects are, by making use of your SSL protocol and your transport layer protocol. Okay, fine. I'll not do much today. Okay, so first an introduction regarding your SSL. Okay, so have you heard of this SSL? Secure socket layer? Anybody? Not heard. Nobody hears anything in this class, huh? Jivesh, heard about SSL security or SSL in fact?
Ma'am?
Have you heard about SSL?
No, ma'am.
No, okay, right. See, you know your TCP/IP protocol stack. Like, let me put it this way. So you'd be familiar with this. You have your IP here, then on top you have your, what do you have? TCP. TCP. I'm just showing you where the location of your SSL or TLS, where exactly it comes into picture. Something what we're going to learn right now in the protocol stack. See here, see, secure socket layer or your TCP. That also comes here only. Okay, so here you have all your, what is it? Your things like your HTTP or you can say like these are the things. What I'm drawing is the concentration on your transport layer. Okay, FTP, your file transfer protocol, SMTP. Okay, all these things comes here. Okay, that's what. So this is where your TCP comes into picture. Right? Maybe you can just make a note of it. So before we start to learn about it, you should be knowing where exactly it is being located. This is not TCP. It is TLS. I've made a mistake here. It is TLS, SSL or TLS, transport layer TLS protocol. Then you have your TCP and then you have your IP. Okay, this is how it is. So please make a note of this in your notebook. Okay, so okay. So now coming to your SSL. What do you understand by your web security or SSL? Okay. So this secure socket layer protocol, it's basically a internet protocol. So which is basically used for secure exchange of information between your web browser and a web server. Okay, so we had discussed about various network security services. Okay, network security services. What are the various network security services? You have things like your non-repudiation, privacy, authentication, confidentiality. There are around 7 net basic security services. Okay, so your SSL protocol, secure service layer protocol, it basically provides 2 services. One is authentication and second one is confidentiality. Confidentiality is all about encryption. Okay, so that is your functionality of your SSL. Okay, so I just mentioned it's used for secure exchange of information between your web browser and web server. Okay, so when you say that it provides, you can say, some secure pipe between the web browser and the web server. Your SSL protocol provides a secure pipe between your, I'm trying to make you imagine how it is, okay, between your web browser and the web server. Okay, so this SSL, it was developed by your Netscape Corporation. Netscape Corporation. So you would have been familiar with the Netscape Navigator browser. Okay, maybe the students of this era will not be knowing about it. So when we were students, it was all Netscape Navigator, which was the browser, just like Google. Google was not there then. It was a Netscape Navigator developed by Netscape Corporation. So this Netscape Corporation developed this SSL protocol. Okay, so this happened somewhere in the 90s. Okay, so since then it was proved to be a very effective web security mechanism. Okay, so it became very popular. Okay, so as of when I showed you the syllabus, I mentioned that this SSL, it comes in three versions. Okay, version 2, version 3, and version 3.1. Okay, among them, the most popular version is version number 3. Okay, fine. So now coming to the an overview regarding your SSL protocol stack. SSL protocol stack, how it looks like. You can see here. Okay, so these are the components of your SSL protocol stack. Okay, so this is basically designed to make use of TCP to provide you can say reliable end-to-end service. Okay, so when you say SSL, it is not a single protocol. It's not a single protocol, but then it is. I mean, it's, you can call it as a layered protocol. A layered protocol. Okay, so somebody's microphone. Huh? Okay. So your SSL the protocol, we'll be discussing about each of these protocols in detail. Okay, SSL protocol stack. That's a big question. Of course, you can expect many sub questions also from it. Okay, so this is, I just mentioned, it's not just a single protocol; it's a layered protocol. Okay, so this first one, this record protocol, SSL record protocol, it will provide the basic securing services to the various higher level protocols. Okay, so in particular, you have all these. Your HTTP, when I showed you this thing, you can see here. See here. These are the higher level protocols, providing services to the higher level protocol. So this, hey, I mean, you have this HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, that will provide transfer services for basically the client server interaction. And this is one popular protocol which operates on top of your SSL. Okay, then again there are other higher level protocols which are being defined as a part of your SSL. Okay, so along with your FTP and SMTP, you also have what is called your handshake protocol. Then handshake protocol, and this is the second one, the handshake protocol. Then you also have your cipher specification protocol, chain cipher specification protocol, and the alert protocol. Okay, alert protocol. Okay, so actually these are the these protocols. They are the SSL specific protocols that are used in the management of your secure socket layer. Okay, so before we start discussing about this SSL protocol stack in detail, okay, so now let's try to look into what are the two important aspects of your SSL. Okay, two important aspects of your SSL. Okay, so one is what is called a connection, and second one is what is called a session. Okay, so let's try to understand what this connection is and what this session is all about. Is the recording happening? Okay. Okay. So what do you mean by connection? Any idea what is connection here? So connection means, in simple words, this connection will always be associated with some session. Okay, you can say some sort of relationship. Let's say some peer-to-peer relationship. Okay, so like what type of service is being provided. Okay, so it's always associated with one session. Okay, so now coming to what basically is a session. Session. Okay, so session is basically, you can say, an association between a client and a server. Okay, so this sessions, they are being created by the handshake protocols. Handshake protocols. Okay, here you had it. These are the protocols which it will be using. So the sessions are created by handshake protocol, and then it will have, I mean, of course, it has to be secure, because authentication and confidentiality are the two aspects associated with your SSL. So when you say a session, so many cryptographic parameters, you can say cryptographic security parameters will have to be defined as a part of the session. Okay, and then there it may not be one connection, it may be multiple connections also. Okay, so all these things has to be taken care. Okay, so now, I mean, for each session, there will be something called states. Okay, you'll be learning about all these things. Okay, there are a number of states associated with each session. Okay, so once a session is being established, okay, then there is a current operating state. Okay, current operating state to perform some operation. The operation can be reading or writing, reading and writing, you can say. Okay, so in simple words, you can say exchange. Exchange means you're receiving and sending, receiving and sending. Okay, so again, so some states are being created. Okay, so during this handshaking, we will learn handshaking in detail. Okay, so you can see here in your syllabus, so this handshaking, we have handshake of messages. So how this handshaking is being done, so that will be discussed in detail. Okay, so as of now, keep in mind that during the handshake protocol, or when the handshaking happens, okay, all these states are created. When I say states, it can be the receiving state, sending state, or in other words, reading and writing states. Okay, so um, the, at the time it is being created, so they will be in what is called your pending state. Okay, then after successful conclusion of the handshake protocol, the pending states will become the current states. Okay, so that's what your session is all about. Okay, so keep in mind that session is nothing but an association between the client and the server. Okay, so now I mentioned that when you say session, it defines a set of security parameters. Okay, so session is having some parameters, security parameters. When you say security parameters, definitely it will be some set of cryptographic security parameters, encryption and security parameters. So now let's try to see what are these parameters. What are the different parameters? Session state parameters. Feeling sleepy or listening? Santosh? When I took attendance, I remember putting absent for Santosh. When did you join, Santosh? Oh, Santosh is only connected, but not near the system. Okay. Others are listening?
Yes,
Jivesh?
ma'am. Yes,
Okay, thank
ma'am.
you. Right, thank you. Fine. So now coming to what the session state parameters are. Okay, so what are the parameters defining a session? Okay, so we have so many things. We have what is called the session identifier. Okay, so you can say some sequence of bytes. It will be some arbitrary sequence of bytes. Okay, that will be chosen by the server. Okay, to identify a specific session. Okay, to tell that that is the active session, or the session right now which is frozen and which will be resuming very soon. Okay, so to identify that, a unique identifier. Okay, so you can say that that's what is a session identifier. Okay, so the session identifier will be selected by your server. Okay, then some certificate. Okay, so when you say certificate, it's all about digital certificate. Okay, do you remember the name of the digital certificate that we discussed in one of the classes? We had a class on digital certificate, digital signatures, the difference between those two, and we had a class. So that time I discussed about one specific digital certificate, a very popularly used digital certificate. Do you remember? Anybody remembers?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the name of it? I'm happy that somebody remembers that we did it. Do you remember the name? What was the name of that certificate? It was nothing but X.509. X.509. In the previous unit, when we discussed the two email protocols, we discussed about PGP and S/MIME, secure MIME. So the secure PGP uses PGP as its own certificate. Okay, it's like an Apple family. Okay, but then when we say S/MIME, secure multiple internet mail extension protocol, that makes use of your X.509. Okay, so out here, our SSL peer certificate is also X.509. Okay, X.509, the current version, I think version 3 certificate. Okay, then we have the next one is what is called the compression method. Okay, so when you say compression method, it's nothing but what algorithm is used to compress the data prior to your encryption. Before encryption, generally compression happens. Compression happens to make it more secure. Okay, so what algorithm is being used for compressing the data? Okay, so the next is cipher specification. Cipher specification. Okay, so this will actually specify that data encryption algorithm, whether it is whether it is a DES algorithm or what algorithm is used, then exactly for authentication. Authentication means it's all about generating a hash value, right? So what hashing algorithm is being used, whether SHA-1 is being used or whether MD5 is being used. Why are we doing all these things? For your MAC calculation. I hope you remember when we discussed about one day, we discussed about authentication, different types of authentication. We discussed about MIC and MAC, message integrity code, which is also called message authentication code, MAC. Okay. So here this cipher specification parameter will specify the data encryption algorithm and the hash algorithm, whatever is being used for the MAC calculation. Okay. So then again, the hash size will also be defined. The cryptographic attributes like your hash size, all these things will be defined as a part of your cipher specification. Okay. Then we have what is called your master secret. Master secret. Okay. So this is some certain amount of bytes. It could be either 12 byte or 40. I don't remember exactly how many bytes, but then you can say this is a secret which is being shared between the client and the server. The secret which is being shared between the client and the server, a sequence of bytes. A secret being encoded as a sequence of bytes. It has a fixed size. I don't remember right now. I'll just look into and tell you. As far as I remember, it is 48 byte, 48 or 24 byte, one of those parameters. Okay. Then the last parameter is resumable. In the sense, this will basically be a flag or some signaling mechanism, which will indicate whether the session can be used to initiate new connections or not. Okay. So these are the various session state parameters. Okay. So so session state parameters. So we discussed about two important concepts. One is connection and another one is session. Okay. So we just discussed about session state parameters. Okay. So next we need to discuss about the connection state parameters. So this is what we just discussed. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about connection state parameters. Okay. Connection state parameters. Okay, so what is a connection? I already told that connection is something associated with a session, some sort of relationship, or what type of service. Okay. So all those things are being mentioned as a part of your connection. So now let's see what are the connection state parameters, how a connection state is being defined. Okay, so first one is what is called a server and client random. Okay, so this is the first parameter. Okay, so what is the byte sequence or the bit sequence which is being chosen by the server and the client for establishing a connection. Okay, so that's what is called the server and client random. Okay, then the next is server write MAC secret. Okay, like this is basically the secret key. You can say the secret key which is used in MAC operations, message authentication code operations, on the data, whatever is being sent by the client. Okay, server write is everything from the server side. The same thing sent by the client is what is called your client write MAC secret. Okay, the secret key, whatever is used for the operation which is being done on the data, which is being, sent by the client. Okay, okay, that's all. Then we have what is called the server write key. Okay, so this is actually the encryption key for the data encrypted by the server. Okay, so encryption will be at the server side, decryption will be at the client side. Okay, so same way the client write key. Client write key, the data which is being, this is the data which is being encrypted by the client and decrypted by the server, vice versa. Server write key is encryption by server and decryption by the client. What is the encryption key which is being used for? That is what is called a server write key. Okay, so client write key is data and whatever data is encrypted by the client, which will be decrypted by the server. So that's what the encryption key which is being used for that. That is what is called the client write key. Okay, so then we have what is called the initialization vector. Okay, so actually different modes of operations and all are there. So those things in detail we may not be going into as far as the syllabus is concerned, because in many cases we need to maintain what is called an initialization vector. Okay, so this field is first initialized by your handshake protocol. Okay, so handshake protocol will take care of it. Okay, then yeah, you can say some just like your initial value or whatever. There are some more aspects regarding it, but then since we are not looking into what are the operations or the different types of operations and how the value changes, so let me not confuse you. You can say you can call it as an initialization value or initialization vector. Okay, so this field is first being initialized by your handshaking protocol, which comes as a part of your SSL protocol stack. Okay, then next, last one is what is called your sequence number. Sequence number. Okay, so you can say each party will be maintaining a separate sequence number. Okay, for the transmitted and the received messages, as far as each connection is concerned. Okay, so when the party, you can say the client sends a message, server sends or the client receives, let's say a change cipher specification message. So some appropriate sequence number, so that will be flagged or it will be set to 0. Okay, so generally the sequence numbers will be of the range 2 to the power 64 minus 1. Okay, so that is for, the party, the communicating parties, the server and the client. Okay, when you say party, it is not one person, it's a, pair. The communicating parties maintain a separate sequence numbers for each message that is being transmitted and each message that is being received as far as the connection is concerned. So that is what is called the sequence number. Okay, so these are the connection state parameters. Okay, connection state parameters. People sleeping or listening? Okay, thank you, Shruti. Let me mark attendance to our Santosh. I can see him in the chat window. Who's that? Somebody texting me in the chat window. Listening, ma'am. Ah, laughing and listening. I doubt Santosh. When I called out that time also, you were not there. So 111 is absent, right? 111 is Sai Satish is absent. Nityashri is also absent. 26, Dipanshu Kumar didn't join, right? Dipanshu and Vishal also didn't join. Out of 12 students, 8 are absent. Okay. Right, we'll discuss one more small topic. Okay, so that's introduction. Why I'm going very slow is again I have to repeat all these things in the next class when your B section friends join. Okay, so this is the fourth unit is all about web security. Web security, then one aspect of web security we discussed, IP security. Then another two important protocols which helps in web security is SSL and TLS. Okay, so what constitutes an SSL protocol stack? Then the two important aspects of SSL. Then what are the session state parameters and what are the connection state parameters? We'll look into one more PPT. Just a second. Don't leave. We'll discuss one more PPT. Okay. Okay, so next what we are supposed to discuss is what is called your SSL architecture. Architecture, the same thing. What I showed you in the previous slide in detail. Now we're going to learn in detail, so that's why we have put it in the form of a block diagram. I already told you that secure socket layer is being designed to make use of your transmission control protocol. So it's basically to provide a reliable end-to-end security service. And I also told in the previous slide, when you say SSL, it's not a single protocol. It's basically a layered protocol. Okay, so all these things we have discussed, right? So we will start with each of these parameters. What constitutes each of the protocols involved in your SSL protocol stack. What happened? Okay, so we have all these. You have the SSL record protocol. Then we'll be discussing about SSL. We'll start with the first one. That is your SSL record protocol. What does this SSL record protocol tells you? Okay, so this SSL record protocol basically will provide confidentiality and message integrity. Okay, so for a specific SSL connection, when you're establishing an SSL connection between the client and the server, so it will provide confidentiality as well as integrity, that is message integrity. Okay, as far as the connection is concerned. So basically this SSL protocol, it will come into picture, or you can say it takes action after a successful handshake is completed between the client and the server. In the sense they are planning to communicate. So before that, a handshaking. Before you start a conversation, you handshake. So same way, handshake after a successful handshake is completed. It's not as simple when I say a handshake. We'll discuss in detail what are the various things of handshake. When you say handshake, what are the aspects involved in it. So that I'll take up later when we start discussing about handshaking. Okay, so as of now, keep in mind that this record protocol takes action only after a successful handshake is being completed between the client and the server. Okay, or you can say after the client and the server has authenticated to each other and they have decided what algorithm or what technique they are going to use for uh, information exchange. Their objective is to have a secure information exchange. Okay, so I mean, after they have decided all these things, this SSL protocol, record protocol, comes into picture. Okay, so I told you this protocol. Okay, so this SSL protocol basically provides two services. Two services. One is what is called your confidentiality, and another one is message integrity. Okay, so confidentiality means it will tell or it will define what is the secret key that is used for the encryption of the SSL payload or whatever. Okay, so what is the shared key, secret key that is used for encryption? So that is becomes a part of your confidentiality. So then for integrity as a part of your message authentication code, MAC code. Okay, so what is the shared secret key which is being used? Okay, so that's what forms as a part of your message integrity. Okay, so this record protocol, what it will do is it will take a message as an input. You can say an application message as an input. Then it will fragment it into smaller blocks. You can see the diagram now. What I'm telling right now, I mean, it's in the diagram. Okay, so this SSL protocol, record protocol, will take an application message as an input. It will fragment it into smaller blocks. Then it will optionally compress each block. Compress, but this compression is optional. Then it will add MAC, the message authentication code. In case it is compressed, along with the compressed data, it will add a message authentication code. Then it will encrypt it. It will encrypt it. Then it will add a header. It will add a header, and then it will give it to the transport layer. Okay, so from there, the TCP protocol will process it like any other TCP block. Okay, so that's what basically happens. Okay, so that's why we have this diagram. Okay, so it will take an application input, I mean, message as an input, make it into fragments. Sometimes compression might be involved in it. Okay, so but then when you do the compression, we should ensure that it will not result in any loss of original data. Okay, so this fragmenting means the message, the application message, it will be broken into a number of blocks, you can say, number of blocks. Okay, so certain some size, standard size would be the 8 KB or 16 KB or whatever. Okay, so I think in as far as SSL protocol is concerned, it should be somewhere within 16 KB. Okay, so that's fragmentation. Okay, breaking down of that message into multiple blocks depending upon the size of your application data. Then compression. Okay, compression, it is optional, it's written as optional. So I mean, the thing to be noted is it should not result in the losing your original data. Then you're adding MAC, message authentication code. Okay, so this message authentication code for each block is calculated using the shared secret key, what is being established. That is as a result of your handshaking. Okay, then the encryption will happen. So encryption. Okay, so whatever the MAC, okay, MAC is there. So then it will be encrypted using the symmetric key, whatever is being established in the handshake protocol. Then it will be appended with the header. Okay, header will be added to the encrypted block. Okay, so when you say the header, that again will have, let me see. This is a record format. Okay, so the header will also have some field like what is the version of it, what is the content type, the header information, whether it is a major version or a minor version. So many fields are also there as a part of your header. Okay, so that's regarding your SSL record protocol. Okay, record protocol. So you can see here, this is an SSL record format. When you say an SSL record, how it looks like. A record header format. You can see here, there are 4 fields here. You have the content type. This is the thing what I was telling. So here, when it comes to the header type, content type, major version, minor version, compressed length. Okay, so here you can see here, optionally compressed, MAC code, 0, 16 or 20 bytes. Okay, so that's regarding your SSL record protocol. So it is a form of what is called your SSL protocol stack. SSL protocol stack. So next we need to discuss about this handshaking will take up as a separate topic itself. I'll just tell in brief out here what the handshaking is all about, because the most complex part of SSL is actually the handshake protocol. Okay, so this protocol will allow the client and the server to authenticate each other, and to negotiate what encryption algorithm or what MAC algorithm or what cryptographic keys are used to protect the data, whatever is being sent in the SSL record. Okay, so actually this handshake protocol is used before any application data is being transmitted. So it is, you can say, the heart of the SSL protocol is your handshake protocol. Okay, so that we'll be seeing later. So now we need to discuss about what is your change cipher specification protocol, what does your alert protocol do, and then HTTP. Anyway, all of you are well aware of it. Okay, so when you say this SSL connection, you establish, you said, using your handshake protocol. So after that, once it is established, before closing the connection, or you can say before ending the communication, so the both of them have to tell that they are closing the connection from their end. Okay. So for example, the client has to inform the server that it's going to wind up the connection from the client end. Same way, the server will have to inform that it is going to connect it. I mean, it is going to end the connection from its end. Okay. So for that, the client will send a close notify alert to server. The server will accept and send the same back. Okay, so it is like a graceful closure of the connection. You are telling, I'm going to stop, politely telling, and then stopping the connection rather than abruptly ending a particular connection. Okay, so whenever the client will receive this particular alert, that is the close notify alert, okay, it will immediately stop whatever it is doing, then it will send its own close notify alert. So to the other end, telling that, okay, I am also ready. Okay, so so in case you are sending this close notify alert to alert and gracefully ending, then that particular session can be resumed at any point of time. Okay, so if it is abruptly stopping, on the other hand, if the SSL connection is abruptly stopping, so without close notify from the either party, it cannot be resumed back. Okay, so that's the another difference. Okay, are you listening to my stories?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So anyway, I'm stopping. We'll take it up in the next class. Next class, what the change cipher specification protocol is all about. This is actually a very simple protocol. It basically consists of only a single message. A single message means a single byte or single value. Okay, that is, I said, when you are establishing connection, you have what is called, and when some operation has to be done, reading and writing or sending and receiving states are there. So initially it will be in the pending state. Okay, so this change cipher, with the help of this change cipher specification protocol, so this particular an alert or a message from this protocol will cause the pending state to be copied into the current state. So that will update the cipher suite and ensure that the pending state has become the current state. So it is just a signaling. It's something very simple. Okay. Then this alert protocol. Alert protocol is basically for alerting when either your client or server detects an error. So which party has detected the error, whether the client has detected or the server has detected. So it will send an alert message to the other. If client has detected, client will send an alert message to the server. Okay. So if the error is something which is fatal, okay, so immediately both the parties will immediately close the SSL connection. Okay. So then, yeah, some major issue has happened. So immediately, both the client and the server, they will destroy all their session parameters, all the identifiers, secret keys, whatever is associated. So everything will be destroyed before the particular connection is being terminated. Okay, so that's what. So this actually has 2 bytes. Okay, we'll look into it in the next class. Okay, so now I gave you a brief description regarding what basically your SSL protocol is all about. I told you what SSL protocol is. Then what are the 2 important aspects associated with SSL protocol, state and connection. Then what are the session state parameters? What are the connection state parameters? Then we also looked into the protocol stack. Okay, so let me wind up. I have the next hour too. So students would have already started joining there. So let me stop. Thank you.